Hey everyone, Nick here from Fantasy Book Reviews. As you can see, I'm solo today because Ray's currently on vacation. At the time of recording this video, I've just finished season 1 of Amazon's Wheel of Time series, and I wanted to talk about what I wish had happened in each of the episodes. I'm not going to be going into the episodes that Amazon did release, so expect only very minor spoilers from there, but I will be going into book 1 and book 2 of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, so if you haven't read those books and don't want spoilers, then I wouldn't watch this video yet. If you're interested in reviews for each of Amazon's released episodes, Ray and I are doing that now on our channel, so check those videos out. With that spoiler warning out of the way, let's get into it. For episode 1, I would have liked to have the Narg sequence added, where Rand is confronted and talked to by a Trolloc, trying to get him to go see the Fade. I wanted to add this sequence so that the Trollocs don't feel just like CGI zombies, and to show the importance of the main party and why they have to go. I would also not make Matt a thief and not have him gamble all of his money away that he does have, and I would definitely not give Perrin a wife and have him kill her in the first 30 minutes of the show. Aside from those 3 changes, I would leave the rest of the episode pretty much untouched. In episode 2, I might throw in a reference to the Eye of the World in the Ba'alzamon dream, so that we don't have to have the Amarlin Seat randomly getting those dreams instead of the actual main characters, because in my ideal rendition of the show, we would still be going through Caemlyn and would not reach Tar Valon. I would also like to see the original story of Shadar Logoth put into the episode and have the sequence where the boys meet Mordith and how Matt gets the dagger that way. Now, in episode 3, I would keep it relatively the same. What I would change, however, is Perrin's wolf sequences. I would put Elias in and allow Perrin to develop the wolf realization in that way with a guide. This would cut the terrible chase scene that Perrin and Egwene have with the wolves, and it could still have everything exactly the same. They could still go with the Tinkers and be captured by the White Cloaks. It's just Elias would have to get injured before this happens. Now, kind of along with this sequence, since Perrin didn't have a wife, this romantic kind of vibe that I got from Perrin and Egwene wouldn't have been so weird and out of place. And as for Matt and Rand, I would keep those sequences the same. In this condensed format, I feel that it would just be too much to try to fit Tom into episode 1, and I just like how the writers and the producers brought Tom in this episode. You know, again, Matt wouldn't be a thief in this, so he would have to have a different reason for looking at the Aiel men, maybe just general village curiosity of who and what he did. Aside from that, episode 3 is pretty much the same. In episode 4, this Logain shit would be cut for sure. For Moiraine to be healed, I would have them go to Whitebridge and have a sister be there to heal Moiraine, or for a little more action sequence, you know, I wouldn't mind putting like a little battle that goes on between Lan and the now incapacitated Moiraine, and just have Nynaeve feel this sense of urgency and end up having to heal Moiraine to get past her block in that moment of adrenaline and fear. And then after being healed, I would then have Moiraine finding and saving Perrin and Egwene. I understand that the writers probably put in the wife killing sequence for Perrin to overlook him killing White Cloaks, so I would just put this back in here. I would honestly have, during the escape, Perrin get into a rage and kill some White Cloaks, and then that's how all of this goes down. As for Matt and Rand, I think they could take a similar path from the books. I would like to see them go through one village where they're cornered by a Fade, and this is where Tom has to sacrifice himself to allow them to get away. And then they could go through a second village where they narrowly miss getting caught by a Fade again and end up hitching a ride from someone traveling to Caemlyn. Now, in episode 5, Rand and Matt would get to Caemlyn, where Matt is being corrupted by the dagger and is mostly out of commission for the episode, similar to the book. Rand would go out, see Logain, fall into the palace gardens, and go through that whole event with Elaine and Gawain and the queen and everything. The rest of the party would then arrive, and Rand, Matt, and Loial would meet them, and they would do all of the stuff that happened in the book. But I think what I would change about the books to the show is this would probably be a pretty good place to put Min in the end, where they're staying, and she could instead have a viewing about the Eye of the World coupled with the dream in the beginning, and then maybe throw in a different plot device for the Eye of the World. And then Moiraine would have to overlook Tar Valon and then go to the Eye of the World instead. Now, this episode would end with everyone going into the Ways, to include Matt. In episode 6, I would have them in the Ways. I actually like how the show did the Ways traveling sequence. I liked how they portrayed Machin Shin, and I think that it would just be good to keep it pretty much the same. Then they would get to Fal Dara, and this is another place I didn't really mind most of the stuff that happened, but I would 100% like Padan Fain to be, you know, his completely mad, crazy self, and for him to get captured. But overall, I liked a lot of the sequences between the Ways and Faldara. Now, episode 7 would be everyone leaving Faldara. They would travel the Blight, trying to find the Green Man, and yes, this would be still the goal. It would be to get to the Green Man. I would like to see the Blight kept much more like the books, and so we get to kind of see a lot more of these creatures and these disgusting plants, and see the party fight them and see the party fight all these creatures. The group would then make it to the Green Man's Grove and do the walkthrough with the Green Man, seeing the Eye of the World. And at this point is where I would like to see the writers and producers having a heavier hand with the changes. While I thought I would like to see the Horn found. And then that would be the end of episode 7. Now, before I get into episode 8, I would like to preface this by saying that I'm not a writer and my ideas probably suck. Having said that, these are my opinions on what I would like to have seen in there. And what I would have liked to see is a combination of books 1 and 2's endings, since I think both of them had some pretty big issues. Now, in episode 8, I would like one of the Forsaken show up, preferably Aginor, and then I would have the Green Man just totally fuck him up. But in that bout that had ensued, I would like Moiraine to get knocked unconscious, just incapacitated to where she can't do anything. And then it is discovered that Aginor has done something to the protection on the Grove, and there is an army of Trollocs that are quickly coming upon the Grove. And because Moiraine's incapacitated and cannot do anything and is unconscious, Mat ends up grabbing the horn and blowing the Horn of Valir. The battle between Rand and Ba'alzamon that happens in book 2 instead takes place here and is seen across the sky in the whole Borderlands. And then after the whole battle ensues, there could be some, dialogue changes and some exchanges between the party of what happened. And then that would roughly be my first season. Again, I'm not a writer, and I realize my ideas, especially for the ending, probably suck, but I think that something along these lines would have been way better than what we got. From watching the Amazon series, I saw these nuggets of great writing in there. So I know that they hired some really good people to write it. But rather than trying to rewrite the whole book like they did, I think that they would have been way better off trying to adapt the book to a TV series, keeping most of the story and plot as intact as possible. If you disagree with me or you don't like some of the changes that I would have made, let me know what you think and what you would have changed in the comment section below. Now, with that, if you like this sort of content, my cousin and I do fantasy book reviews and deep dives with the occasional show or movie review thrown in. So please like and subscribe for more videos like this. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.